Hello, this is SoLaMee. I am what is known as a master healer. I'm a certified healer in multiple disciplines and practices, and it is somewhat of an art. So you could call it the art and science of transformation. But how did I get here? How did I end up here? It started actually very, very much in my youth, but it also was something that I think I've done in other lifetimes. How many of you have ever imagined that you've lived many lifetimes, perhaps? Many. I mean, why not? It does seem a little limiting to think we're only here once. But can we remember those lifetimes? Most often not. Most often we get a glimpse at times. But when we start to remember, really through all kinds of different things, yeah, we realize we're kind of picking up where we left off, and it's time to do more or to continue on that journey or to grow more in that particular area that we're interested in. And in some of us, we feel a deeper sense of connection to a bigger story, like the story of life itself, the story of this world, this planet, the story of humanity. Some of us feel very connected to that story, and it's beyond our little stories, our tiny lives. We have those lives, we have those personal stories, but we know we're part of something bigger. And we don't need to prove it. We don't need to worry about it. It just is. And you could say, in a way, it's like being on a team that is invisible sometimes, but yet not, because sometimes we run into each other on the planet in life. We come across souls we would call kindred spirits that seem to recognize us. We see us through them, they see us through. We have that exchange. I see you, I know you. And we don't have to explain ourselves. We get it that there's something deeper going on, and then again we're continuing on where we left off. So let's go back in time. The most profound awakening often is to re meet an important connection. And honestly, mine was when I was 9 years old. I was going through a lot of turmoil in my life because my parents were separated at that time. My grandmother was babysitting us a lot. She stayed a couple nights in a row. She was a very religious person, and she pressed a lot of religious teachings on my younger sister and and I listened like any kid were listening, or whatever. She read books to us and she read out of the Bible. She even had like a children's story for us one night. And all I know is that by the time I went to sleep or was going to try and fall asleep, I was super unhappy. I was super unfeeling good about that thing um, called her religion. I mean, I understood it was all part of something good. I did attend church when I was little, so I knew where she was coming from. But I had these sudden, deeply personal frustrations with the source of all of life, with God. It's kind of like I said, I want to talk to God because this bothers me. It seems wrong. Why is my grandmother teaching me to be afraid of you? To be afraid of you. And I laid there and I said, and why is Jesus? She always says Jesus this and Jesus that, but it's like, who is Jesus? And I want to know. I want to know who he is now. And the very next instant, something happened so potent, so huge, that it altered my course of my life, I'm certain. It also woke me up in the very most rudimentary ways. It said hello back to me, and it was the light of him. It powerfully came towards me, and it pierced my third eye, and it lit up my whole inner vision to the point where I was blinded by the light, and it dropped into me and it came to me. And he said in words that were beyond words, but it was like energy poured in, and it taught me all of it at once. That is not my name, but that is what they call me. But you know me. And he basically reminded me who I really am, someone who knows him, someone who has literally known him. Anyways, I began to feel the horror of my outrageous moment of arrogance as well as, forgetfulness. I was embarrassed. It's like it being embarrassed, like someone you dearly love and admire beyond admiring, and suddenly you're like, oops, I was wrong. There is something there. But he doesn't actually care if they call him this other name. So I decided in that instant to be humble, and I shut right up. And all I know is that the light faded, and it was like a calmness came over me, and something so deep was now back in me, that remembrance. And then I set about just realizing that religion, it's okay, it's good, it has good things in it, but it has flaws, because life has flaws and humanity has flaws. And I just was young, I was 9. I went to sleep peaceful, kind of aware that something rare had just happened. But I knew that I knew him, and I knew he was absolute good. And I knew that if I screwed up, um, he'd help me. But I needed to understand that there was a very real, higher source of truth. And I needed to have some humility and ask for help. And that began my young journey. Many years passed, many years passed. Um, I was not in church after a certain point. My parents, my mother and my father did divorce, and it was just not, my mother, it was too much work getting us to go to church, and my brothers hated it, and they fought with her all the time about the clothes and what they had to wear. And I'm sure we went through a lot of what many families go through. It's like, oh well, oh well. And in the meantime, I was, a mind that knew that it was truth to trust God, to know that God is love. By the way, that was clear to me. There was no question in my mind. A God of fear wasn't God. That was something else. It might be something powerful. It might be something historic. It might even have the roots of some of our religions, but it's still not God. That is something else. And yes, like all things in evolution, we have worked our way through at each phase in the ages of man. But the teachings of the truth of what we are and where we're from ultimately usually span ages, and they're universal, and every religion has some of the exact same truths. We are love, ultimately. Our all knowing source, that which created us, loves us. That I believe in every part of me. It's not even a issue to question such a thing. But many years have passed since then. And I urge people who have questions about faith and what to trust and what to put your energy into. I would say the truth is everywhere. I would say there are jewels and pearls of wisdom in every great faith. That's why I respect them. I would say show respect when you enter a place of worship. To some extent, be open and curious and interested in what's there. Learn from what you can, but never make a teaching more important than the truth behind its original source, which was the message, the actual messenger. Because he is eternal. She is eternal. Bright minds throughout history have brought in truth, and they exist to help us begin to have less worry about, oh, I don't know, who are you really? Why are you really here, SoLaMee? Because I'm here to help. That's all I can think to say. I'm here to help. And he knew that. And he woke me up. Then he woke me up again many years later. And that's another story. And you can find out more if you want to by reading my whole life story. It's a lot of amazing things that I went through. And he's been there, either very in the distant background of my life or very much in the prominent front. if I needed it because something massive was happening to me. But there were other stories, there were other experiences of him directly. He's healed my body after things that have happened that were probably going to kill me. I mean, he's done things, he's pretty much shown up out of nowhere, just instantaneously, and it's unequivocal that that is him. There's no doubt in my mind that he is aware, no matter where I am and how tiny I am, he seems to know when he needs to step in and help me. And I do believe that that is something that goes on all the time in this world for many people, believe it or not. And a lot of us, we're never going to be ministers. We're never going to be some big focal point in some huge um, popular thing, movement, or teacher, or guru, because we're busy just being part of something in our own quiet way. And we help those who come to us any way we can. But I guarantee that he is real. He told me before I learned it from another source who also had a powerful, long encounter with him. And I've met many people, by the way, that have had direct experiences of him. And they are not people typically that are highly religious. I call it the unassuming humility of people just doing the best they can. And when you're less full of ideas and full of teachings, there's more room to intervene and help you. So stay humble, stay open, pay attention to what's possible, and know that you are loved. And if it is him that comes, then be ready to be receptive. I feel a certain sense of humility for a moment that I had to be helped, frankly, because I don't really want to be taking up his time because he has a lot of people to help. So remember, when intervention happens, it's because it had to. And be so ready for it. And by the way, never be sad that you haven't supposedly had somebody powerful and bright and amazing, a master, come to you. They feel you, they know you. Anyways, they're waiting for your comfort zone to get to a place where you can receive them and not have it overwhelm you. They don't ever want to scare anyone. They don't ever want to overwhelm you. You have to have more curiosity. You have to have more open-mindedness. And then they will show you signs. And it might even start small, but they will eventually show you something huge. And I have a great deal of gratitude that I've been willing to set aside overwhelming sensitivities for miraculous events. And no matter what, each time I've seen it, I've been part of miraculous events with others. I've worked with people and had them heal from tremendously, outrageously overwhelming things. They get better because that's what's possible. And it has always been that. But I want you to keep your mind open to your own possibilities. And if you do want to learn more about my life, you might learn something for yourself, for your own life. I do believe every story matters. Everyone has a life story that matters. But mine is The Spiral to Now. It's a journey of awakening, and it is available on Amazon.com. So thank you.